Hi everyone, welcome back. It's been a really belated video. I'm sorry for the delay. Work has been really busy. I'm finally on a bit of holiday time, so I've had time to make this video. So I started off this one. The machine is actually already hot, so you can see I switched it from setting 2 to 0. To set up the machine, you want to set it to position 1 on the first switch. For this part, I do try to grab the large milk frothing jug that I don't really use to catch some of the water that comes out of the steam wand. This is how to set it up, fill the boiler per the instruction manual. So you want to turn the second switch, which is the brew switch, on. You want to open up the steam valve and let some of the water come out, then close it and wait until the water is dripping in a steady stream from the brew head. Okay, so you can see it here. And that's when it's time to turn off the brew switch. You can now set the main switch to setting 2 as shown here. This is something I've had a lot of requests to demonstrate. You'll see that that second light will light up. As I said, my machine is already heated up, so it will take a bit of time before it realizes it needs to reheat the boiler. So then I grab my portafilter and put it in the group head to heat it up. So there it is. While this is happening, I always give it a bit of a clean, and you can see now that the second light has switched on. So that's telling us, okay, the boiler is now full and it's now heating up because some of that water will be fresh in there and obviously cooler than it was before. So I just did a quick tidy. Now it's time to turn on the steam wand switch. So because we're doing temperature surfing, I always steam the milk first if I'm having a hot coffee, which I say quite often is not very often. Now this is one of the small steam jugs that I've got, and I just use one of these little Japanese wide top mugs. It doesn't serve very much at the moment. I'm on actually just a single shot, so I pull a double shot or I guess it's a triple shot for myself and my partner. So at the moment it's 20 grams going into this double or triple basket, whatever you want to call it. So 20 grams of grinds going in. So just filling up that milk jug here to, I think it was about 175, maybe 200 mils. I'm not sure what that is in fluid ounces. And then when that is ready, you just need to wait for the steam wand to be ready. So I give it about, I think it's 50 seconds that it takes to heat up from memory, or somewhere around that 1 minute mark, particularly if the machine is hotter, which this machine had been on at this point for maybe 45 minutes or so because I'd already had my morning coffee. You then want to grab a cloth or something like that, something thick because I have burnt myself, and just make sure that that steam wand is ready to go so you can see it's nice and hot. So now it's time to get started on steaming the milk. Now the boiler on this machine, the 450ml boiler, is very powerful. The steam power is definitely there. If you have multiple people drinking the same milk in a hot coffee, use one of the bigger jugs and make it all at once. It should only take you about a minute or so to heat up a relatively large milk jug. If my partner and I drank the same milk, it would certainly make the hot coffee making process so much faster. So if you are a hot coffee drinker and you can't afford or don't need a double boiler machine, this is perfect for you. So wrapping it all up, you then want to give the steam wand a clean. So using your wet cloth, wipe down the end of it and then open up the valve, make sure some water runs through to get rid of any excess milk. And that part is done. Now before the temperature surfing, you want to flick off the steam wand switch, get your portafilter out because you're going to be running water through the group head and it's nice and hot and ready to go. So this part is all about temperature surfing. So your steam wand is off. I grab my large milk jug or something like that and turn the brew switch on, and you want all of that really hot steamy water to come out. Temperature surfing in a single boiler machine is really important because the water ready for steaming is far too hot to pull a nice espresso shot and will burn the beans. So turn on that brew switch, let the water come out, and once it starts coming out at a steady stream, it's then cool enough, you can flick it off and let the boiler reheat. Give her a clean, and now it's time to prepare your coffee grinds. This is the best way to use the time for your temperature surfing. So starting with a hot milk, the milk frothing first, and then going over to prepare your coffee grind. So I'm getting my scales out, I'm weighing out my 20 grams. So I've got my little cup on my scales. I grab my Airscape canister, opening up the air sealer, grabbing the little scoop that did actually come with the machine, weighing out my beans. Highly recommend the Airscape canister if you're after something to store your beans. Now you'll notice that I have just pointed to the heat boiler light that's on, the second light that's on the orange one, which is why it's ideal that we're spending this time getting our coffee ready to put in the group head, so in the portafilter, because we know that we've just refilled the boiler by running that brew switch and getting all of the water back through after using the boiled water for the steaming. So this will kind of give us perfect timing once it's all done to be using that brew water at the right temperature. So giving it some time after the brew light has actually turned off to settle to the right temperature to brew a nice cup of espresso. Now I still get lots of questions, lots of comments about the grinder. So this is a Eureka MCI grinder. I just got it off Facebook Marketplace, $125. It was an absolute steal, and I have loved it so far. I am using the Weiss distribution technique tool, this WDT tool, to break down any of the larger clumps in these coffee grinds. I just got this WDT off Amazon. It does the job. I'm not going to pay overs for something like that. And I just have a dosing funnel, I suppose, just because sometimes the grind goes in over the top. And if you're then doing your WDT puck prep, then sometimes it can make a bit of a mess. I've got my distributor and tamper, and then I'm using my puck screen. This one's just from Normcore. It was about $30 Australian off Amazon. Next, whipping out these cheap scales so that I can track how much I am getting out of my espresso. So I put 20 grams of grind in. I want to get about 40 grams out. So flicking on the brew switch and waiting for it to do its work. So I do understand this video is a bit repetitive on some of my other videos, but I suppose it's tying it all together about the temperature surfing, the steaming, how to fill and prep the boiler, how to pull an espresso shot. I just wanted to cover it all because it was something that was asked by a few people who just wanted to know, how do I get started on using the quick Mill Pippa? So I wanted to do a start to finish video to kind of show you how I use this machine. Like I said, not typically for hot coffees. It is quite cold here in Australia at the moment, heading into our winter. And we've started off with a really cold chill to begin, probably incomparable to a lot of other areas. So that's why I'm having a hot drink today. Finishing off here, obviously you want to knock it out into your knockbox. Turn on the brew switch to clear that group head out. I always give it a wipe down as well. Take it over to the sink and give it a wash as well. And you're pretty much done, so enjoy.